I love investing in people to become everything they're meant to be. That's why I'd love to help you with your team to see your team flourish. So you've got a team of people and you're going, where do I start? I want this to be a really healthy team, but I just don't know what to do first. I think the very first exercise that you might find really helpful is found in Patrick Lencioni's The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. A healthy team is built on trust, and trust needs an atmosphere of vulnerability. If you're the leader of this team, by the way, you're going to have to model this and go first, which is easier said than done. The exercise is really simple. With your team, basically with the group, if it's smaller than 15, or if it's larger than that, break it up into small groups and try this out. You're going to go around the circle and you're each going to share a few things about yourself. He calls it personal histories. So you're going to share where you were born, how many siblings you had, and where you came in terms of the number of siblings. Are you the youngest, you're the oldest? And then most importantly, you're going to share a difficulty or challenge that you faced as a young person. It doesn't have to be something negative, and it doesn't have to be super, super deep and serious, but you do want to give this some context as well and say, hey, we really want to get to know each other better. The more we understand each other, and this is a place of trust, the better we're going to be as a team. And you want to encourage people, hey, let's be vulnerable, and don't be afraid to share something. I'd love for you to step out and be courageous and share something a little vulnerable, and then model it as a leader. And you might share something that was a challenge for you growing up, that you just, maybe you were bullied at school, and now you're a leader, and now you're doing what you're doing, but when you're at school, that was a really hard time for you. And you'll be amazed how not only does this exercise in like 20 minutes just bring a new atmosphere of vulnerability to a team, but you'll learn things about the other guys and girls in your team. You might think you know them really well, but when you hear this, you'll, there's an aha moment. There's a, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And it helps you understand each other better. My favorite story Patrick Lencioni shares of how powerful this exercise is, he had this executive team, he took them on an offsite, they were really toxic. Particularly everyone in the team was just finding it really difficult with their head of finance. It felt like any project they put forward, any idea they had, he would shoot it down. He was like the project killer. And they walked in with this animosity, and before they got into any of their issues, any of that stuff, of this big company, they started off by doing this personal histories exercise. Goes around the circle, people share different things, and it gets to the head of finance. And he shares that when he was growing up, his family was actually very, very poor for a number of years, to the point where there were days where he would only have 1 or 2 meals a day because there wasn't enough food to have 3 meals a day. And there was this silence in the room. And then he self-reflected, hey, that's probably why I can be a little bit tough on budgets, because I know what it's like to be poor and have nothing, and I'm never going to go there again. And so I just really want to make sure that we always have enough money. And so as he shared this in the room, Lencioni says that the atmosphere just shifted, and you could feel the empathy of the other team members changing. Now, of course, that meant that when they then addressed all their issues and when they started actually talking about projects, and when these other members came to him moving forward with issues, particularly that were budget related, they had an understanding of what was going on.